All right, this is just a quick video to talk a little bit about tuning and heads. I recently switched to Evans. I particularly like the level 360 concept. They basically have a steeper edge of the side of the head, and I've had trouble with other heads on some of my drums not sitting straight. And when that happens, it's very difficult to seat the head properly and, finger tighten the lugs and have it level. It just doesn't sit properly, and that's annoyed me for years. Evans have always been fine, and now they're selling this level 360 thing, and it works great. So I have my 12-inch Sonor Delight tom here, and I'm just going to show you how I have it tuned. Some people consider this to be quite high. I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then I'm going to switch the coated G2 for a clear G2, just to see how they sound different, because I'm thinking this is perhaps a little too dead for my liking. I also recently tried some EC2 frosted heads and some EC2 clear heads, and they were too thick for me. I want a little bit more brightness and some more kind of overtones out of the drum. But those thicker heads are great if you want to tune them low for kind of more contemporary rock music, I guess. So the first thing, I tend to generally tune the heads a minor third apart. So if I turn this over, the bottom head, that's the pitch of the bottom head. Now you want to get this to be, it doesn't have to be this pitch, but you want the head to be as evenly tuned as possible. So you'll find videos on my website about how I go about putting the head on and getting it seated evenly, and there's lots of videos about that. But basically, they're not perfect, but they're pretty close. If anything, I think that lug is a little bit low. So I'll just tune that up a little bit. So you can hear a little bit of wow, 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 wow. More at some lugs than others, and you're trying to get that to go away. But what you don't want is, well, actually, note that I just detuned this one tension rod a little bit, and it's brought the pitch of the whole head down. It's not just made that one go lower. So it's a tricky thing getting the head evenly in tune. Anyway, that's where I'm going to start, with that pitch on the bottom head. La. Okay, and then turn this over, and the top head should be about a minor third underneath that, which is la la. Approximately there. So I have one mic above my head. There's no EQ or anything on it. It's just a single mic mono. So you're going to hear what this drum sounds like from up here. Okay, and when I put the clear G2 on, I'm going to tune it to the same pitch as that, so you can compare how the drum sounds with this head and with that head. Before I take this off, I'm just going to show you one of the main problems people have with tuning. You've got to be very, very gentle, let's say, when changing the pitch of a head. If you get the head in tune with itself, it's easy to move the pitch up and down to get different notes out of the drum. I'm going to try tuning this bottom head a little bit lower, when the bottom head is nice and in tune with itself and it's relatively tight. You can do a lot with the feel of the drum and the sound of the drum by changing the top head. So I'm going to take it down. Say I want to take it la 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 la. No, that's a minor third down. La la. Let's take it down a half step. So that's not like a quarter turn on each lug. It's the tiniest amount. So watch this. I'm going to tune this. I'm just literally turning the key maybe a 30th of a turn. So it sounds the same, but when I stretch it out a little bit. So that's a semitone down, and I tuned, the key like that much each time. So small changes. So let's hear what it sounds like now. Okay, a little bit more. So the difference between the heads. a little more than a fourth. And also the sound of the drum is going to change depending on whether the mic is far away or close to it, and whether your mic in the top head, or, you know, if this drum, I hear it mainly the top head when it's on the kit because that's what's pointing towards me. The audience is going to hear more of the bottom head. Just see what this sounds like when I turn it around. So you see it sounds different depending on where you're listening from. So like I say, a minor third usually works fairly well for me, but let's keep going with this. Take it down a little more. Just notice how small these movements are. It probably hardly looks like I'm changing it at all. And whenever you're tuning down, you need to stretch it out. Okay, let's hear that one. And then some more. So, like I say, once you've got the head in tune, as long as you're not making drastic movements with the tension rods, then it's easy to get a lot of different sounds out of the drum. Okay, now bigger change. So this top head is now pretty dead. Now let's see what that sounds like. So the drum's pretty dead, and if I was going to tune the top head this low, I would bring the bottom head down as well. I'm going to take this head off, and then I'm going to put the clear G2 on, and I'm going to tune it up to the same pitch that this one was at when I started, and then I'll play those two video clips next to each other, and you can see how the coated sounds versus the clear. So you'll find the full video on how I go about doing all of this stuff on my website, joecrabtree.com. But check out this head. Sometimes other heads I'll put on a drum and they won't sit flat. They'll be either at an angle like this, or I'll push on this side and the other one will go up. This is totally flat. So the bearing edge meets the flat part of the head, and I like that. So this is one of these Evans 360 heads. But like I say, I never had problems with Evans heads before. Okay, so we're now pretty much at the same pitch of this top head as I was with the coated. And I'm just doing that off the interval between the top and the bottom head. So we're going to see how this sounds compared to the coated one. So now I have a reference for a clear G2 versus a coated G2, which I will have to check on the video because it's a while since I switched them over. And if I put different heads on this in the future, I will do the same. So now I know bottom head, top head, and the overall sound of the drum. Notice how when I hit here, you can hear doing, and when I hit here, it's a pure tone. So I'm going to say that this one is kind of in tune with the drum, and this one, if I want to tune this up or down and listen for that yoing, yoing, yoing getting slower. So that's going faster, so I'm going to go down. Really fast. Okay, play a songo groove with a left foot clave. It's going to play 2 bars. The first bar is just the songo groove. The second bar is the left foot clave with a random generated fill over the top, and this fill is going to use the kick. And then I want to play the same thing but with the bell every 3rd 16th. The lead hand in each of those is playing a shuffle sound. Okay, so if I take out the hand that doesn't land on the click, then you'll hear that we get a shuffle, which is the 1st and 3rd partial of a triplet.